Hi, welcome back to our Facebook Bible study. This week we're talking about being filled with the Spirit. What I want to do is direct your attention over here to my sink, and so Asher, if you'd come on over here and help me out. Inside the sink here we have a glass, and what do you notice about the glass in comparison to with the water? This glass is filled with water. Well, what would happen if we wanted to pour more water into the glass? Would we be able to get all this water inside the glass? No, the glass is filled to the top. That would not happen. And so if I go and pour this, what will happen is the water will then just start pouring off to the side. So come on closer here, Asher, and let's take a look. Here we go. Ready? Here we go. See, I'm pouring this water on top, and what's happening is just running off the side, and it's not staying in the glass. We are this glass that's right here. And God says, I have my Spirit to give you and to fill you. But one of the problems is sometimes is our bodies, our lives, we are filled like this glass. And if we are filled with our own strengths, our own abilities, our own stuff, there is no room for God to fill us with His Spirit. In the book of Ruth, Naomi tells us that at the beginning, she went out, she had her husband, she had 2 sons, life was good, and then all of a sudden her husband died, her sons died, and she goes, I left full, but God emptied me. She said that God actually emptied her. See, she had a husband, she had sons who would care for her and watch out for her, and she depended upon them. Now, God wasn't being mean and taking away her husband and sons, but what happened was a great lesson she learned was before she depended upon people and things. And she says, now God emptied me. God took away all the things that I had in life before, that I depended upon, that I leaned on. Now I have nothing. And why does God do that? Not to leave us empty and suffering and weak, but He does that so instead we can depend upon God and lean on Him. In the book of Judges, we're told that the army of Israel was going out to battle. And what happened? They had 32,000 soldiers. God says, this is no good. If I let you go out to war with 32,000 soldiers, you won't need me. You'll have all the soldiers, all the weapons, the artillery you ever could need, and you'll go out and fight in your own strength. You'll win the war, but you'll take credit for yourself. I want you to have victory, but I also want you to always depend upon and trust upon me. And so what did God do? He emptied the army. He stripped them down from 32,000 all the way down to 300. And then He sent them out with shofars and lanterns, glasses with lights. He goes, there's your weapons. Now what will happen? You go out to fight with only 300 men and shofars and lanterns with weapons. You're going to depend upon God as if your life depends upon it, because it does depend upon Him. And then we'll let God fight for us, and we can have a greater victory than we ever could have won on our own. Paul in the New Covenant tells us the same thing. He said, I had all these great revelations from God, and pride and arrogance had the potential to start puffing up inside of me. And so what did God do? He says, I need to protect you from that. And so He sent a messenger of Satan, a thorn in the flesh, to keep Paul dependent and leaning upon God. And Paul said, God, take it away. And he goes, no, I need to keep you in a place where you depend upon me, so that you say, God's grace is sufficient for me. It's all I ever need. This is the lesson. See, here we had the cup back in the sink. We have our own strengths, our own abilities, our revelations and things we see in life. We won't look to God and let Him fill us. And so God says, I need to keep this glass empty. And so this way, with the glass being empty, you will let me come and fill you with my Spirit. And then when you're filled with my Spirit, I can do greater things by the power of my Spirit than you ever could have done with your own strengths and abilities. So remember, being filled with the Spirit also means not being filled with ourselves, not depending upon our own strengths and abilities, our talents, our numbers, but it depends upon God. And then like Paul in Corinthians, we can say, when I am weak, I am strong. When I'm weak and I have no resources, no strengths, no abilities, Then I experience strength because I have God's strength, God's Spirit instead working inside me. And so folks, let God empty you, but don't stay there emptied. Let God fill you with His Spirit. Until next time, Shalom.